Hello, John Connell here, author of the Cow Book and part of the Eason's Sinead and Rick Must Read selection for spring. I'm going to read a short chapter of the book called Overnight. It's about my grandmother, Mary Connell, and it's a story I think you might all enjoy. The bad week is over at last, and I'm staying with Granny tonight. Uncle Davy and his family have gone down to their caravan in Sligo for the night and have asked me to stay at our house with her. I'm not minding Granny, for even though she's 90, she needs no help. It's just the company I like, she says, and she prepares a supper of fried eggs for us. That's no bother, Granny, I say. They're my eggs, she tells me. They're lovely. After we have eaten and supped our tea, we sit down to a good hour or two of solid criticism of the world. Granny is getting tired of the 1916 rebellion celebrations. It is 100 years since the beginning of the Irish journey to freedom, and though Granny is the last woman to receive the widow's pension for the war, she says the whole thing is overkill. We'll be sick of it at the end of the year, she laughs. We will, I agree. The general election happened a few days ago, and it seems the county has no TD, which annoys her too. She made sure to vote, but she tells none of us who she voted for. That is her business. When we have run out of news, we begin to discuss the neighbours and talk of who has died. Granny listens to the death notices on the local radio each day. It is part of her life, for many of her friends have gone now. We never talk seriously of her own mortality. I joke that she shall live to be 100. She says she hopes that it's not the case. I do not like to think of that day, but I know that she is quite ready for death. After the news, we watch a traditional music programme on TG Cahir, the Gaelic language station. The chieftains are in concert and we enjoy the jigs and reels. We smile and point out the players we know. We allow O'Sullivan's March and the Foggy Dew to roll over us. It is at times like these that we know who we are. This music, this language is part of our legacy as a people. Granny's people were all musical. Her brother was an All-Ireland winner on the mouth organ. I have never asked if she can play or sing, but I should not be surprised. We talk of old times before bed. She knows that I am in a way collecting the memories of the long ago for the next generation of the family. We discuss again the story of Kate Mullen and the Titanic. Granny has the telling of it, and like Da, she is a natural. Did you ever know her, Granny? We got letters and parcels home, but she never came back herself, she says. Kate Mullen was but a young girl when it happened. She was on her way to America to make a new life in New York and work in service. It was 1912 and Granny was not yet born. When the ship went down, Kate was trapped behind the metal gates, and it was a local man called James Farrell who freed her. He sacrificed himself in the process. Hollywood has made much of that moment. Kate was placed in the last lifeboat just before the ship sank, and in his final act, James Farrell threw his hat saying, "I'll see you in eternity." Like so many others who perished on that cold, dark night, James's body was never found. Kate lived out her days in Long Island and never set foot in the ocean again. She passed in 1970, an old woman. She dined out on that story for many a year, Granny says. In James Cameron's film, the character of Tommy Ryan, the Irish friend of Leonardo DiCaprio's Jack Dawson, is based on Farrell. His family came from America when they unveiled a monument to Kate Mullen in our local parish, right by Father Sean's house. They were good people. They had not forgotten their roots. They called it the unsinkable, but it went down, Granny concludes, and switches off the telly. We'll get an early night. We will. In the morning she has already fed her hens and has breakfast waiting for me. We have tea and salute the new day. I linger for a while and we talk of our sleep and what work I have planned. As I leave, I joke that she is the unsinkable lady of Soran. Long may she sail.